It's the middle of January, and for a few days anyway, the weather has given us a break from the rather wet and windy weather we had experienced for quite a while, and today is extremely frosty. I've come to the Warnham Nature Reserve, which is near Horsham, and it's deep freeze, which means that a lot of the birds are skating around on ice. A few can find a break in the water, but it's very pleasant. Good day to be out and about. This is the entrance to Warnham. It's got a very friendly atmosphere and a nice little cafe and toilet block. And then the first thing we come to is the Discovery Hub. And it's certainly worth paying a visit here. It gives a really great outlook onto the main lake that I suppose you might call the foundation of what we see at Warnham, at least certainly from the waterbird perspective. Plenty of information panels. And then on the far side we have the entrance to the Attry Hide. I found that the viewing here is very good, and on most days I get plenty of good shots, but there's not a lot to be seen today. The birds are way away in the distance, so let's walk on. From the pathway we get, on a clear day, some good shots of the lake, but in the summer that's all quite overgrown and difficult to spot. And then we come to a feeding and viewing station, which is another great place for taking some photographs, certainly at this time of year when there's no foliage, as we get plenty of light onto our subjects. I have to say in the summer it's not so good for photography because it's very overcast, or overshadowed I should say, from all the foliage. But today I got some excellent shots of these dunnets and the song thrush and various other birds. Then if we turn round and look 180 degrees from the viewing station, we get an excellent view of the lake, at least certainly at this time of the year, before the grass and the foliage all grows up. As I said earlier, it's a very heavy frost today, and the water on the right hand side of this shot is very frozen. It's a little bit slippery across the pathway there. And then we're coming on to the largest hide at Warnham, the woodpecker hide, which offers some great opportunities, particularly at this time of the year again, because a lot of the small birds want to make a full use of the quite large number of feeders that there are here. So quite a selection of birds, and squirrels also take advantage of the offerings. The photographers watching this might be interested in what I'm using for my shots. I'm using 3 cameras, the first of which, and probably the principal camera, is a Nikon Z9 on which I had mounted the Z8 800mm f6.3 lens. I also took with me a Nikon Z8 which was equipped with the Z100 to 400 f4.3 to 5.6 lens. And finally, for the sort of wider shots, I was actually using an iPhone 12 Max Pro, and I'm using the application called Filmic Pro, which I find superior to the standard video camera application that comes with an iPhone. This little batch of still images was all taken using the Z9 and the Z8 800mm lens. Then, moving on from the woodpecker hide, we come on to the heron hide. Now this is one of my favourite hides, particularly in the spring when I've managed to get loads of shots of the herons, which are first of all flying past this hide, but also we can usually see up in their nest sites. Today, unfortunately, because of the deep freeze, apart from these gulls, there was not a lot of else to see, but we did spot this one heron skating on the ice, or slip sliding I should say. One single swan I saw flying away. I'm not quite sure where he was going to land. And then up in the tree, a second heron. This is very close to the location where they nest. Moving on again from the heron hide, I'm walking up to another viewing station. Now in this particular location, it's a good spot for watching dragonflies and damselflies in the summer months. Today, as we can see here, deep frozen and really not an awful lot to see, apart from bulrush seeds blowing in the breeze, as you'll see in just a moment. At this point I decided it was time to walk back to the centre to get a nice hot cup of coffee and thaw out a bit. But this also takes us past what's called the dipping pond area. But first we're going into another hide just to see if there was anything more that I could photograph, and really it was just the gulls over there in the distance where there was a small patch of open water for them to splash around in. So finally, as I say, it's time to return to the centre at Warnham and have that nice hot cup of coffee and an Eccles cake. Very nice. And I'm just going to leave you now with some more still images that I took during the morning. I hope you've enjoyed this trip to Warnham, and I think it's a great place to visit. Lots of photographic opportunities, and also just a lovely place to walk around at all times of the year. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye for now.